flying blind. See how that goes. Hi everyone, my name is Alexa of This Alexa Knits, and this is the first of hopefully many knitting podcasts. I taught myself how to knit during quarantine. I'm sure there are a lot of us out there, and since I got into knitting, I've been, eating up all the knitting podcasts I can find. And I kind of started getting the idea that, I enjoy seeing what other people are knitting. I think it's a huge source of inspiration for me. And I've gotten to the point now in my skill level that I'm, I consider myself an intermediate knitter, and I have a few finished objects that I'm actually proud enough to share. So I figured I would start this channel and be able to share all of that with you, and hopefully I can inspire you the way I'm inspired by others. So thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please feel free to give this video a like. If you want to hang around, we'd love to have you. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, that would be amazing. I'm pretty much just gonna dive right in. Whips. Let's start with whips. So when it comes to whips, I was a monogamous knitter at first. I don't think I could handle the idea of too many knitting projects at once while I was learning. And so I really took it slow, and now that I'm much more comfortable and I know kind of where I want to take things, that I'm feeling more adventurous about the kinds of knits I attempt. I've started having more than one project on the needles at a time. So that's really exciting for me. Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to get myself organized. So the first work in progress I want to show you is probably the one I'm most excited about right at this moment. So this is the Weekend Sweater by Darling J'adore, and I found her, I think on Etsy is where I found her. It's just a really simple top-down raglan sweater. It's got the folded collar in a twisted rib, which this is the first project I've ever done twisted rib on, and I love it. I know it's tedious for some people, and I did find that it was a little tedious at times, but generally it flew off the needles. I love the way it looks. I love the structure that it adds to this sweater, especially since this is just going to be like my comfy, oversized sweater. I just think it's really, really just a classic piece, and I'm so happy that I bought the pattern because I'm gonna make so many more of them. I can already tell, and I haven't even finished this one. So I am knitting this in a Cascade yarn. So just a quick note about my stash. I have quite a large stash of yarn, and if you're interested in seeing everything that I have, I could definitely do like a stash tour. It's not organized in the most beautiful way at the moment, but I'm hoping to change that, maybe during the summer when we have a break. I'm a teacher, so that's when my vacation will be. So I'm gonna hopefully try to make that a little bit nicer. But because I'm a teacher, one of the teachers that I work with, she is also a knitter, and her local yarn store was, not that there are many, I live in Miami, Florida, it's not exactly a knitter's paradise down here, but her local yarn store was going out of business. They decided to donate all of the inventory that they weren't able to sell. So she literally brought like tens of garbage bags packed full of yarn. I was able to pick up quite a few skeins of just absolutely beautiful fibers that I probably, as a beginner knitter, wouldn't have invested in. I could not be more grateful that happened. It just kind of happened to happen right at the perfect time. So yeah, that is where my massive stash comes from. So if you're interested in seeing what I have, I put everything on Ravelry, and my Ravelry is linked. It's either linked down below or on my channel page up at the top on like the banner. So the yarn for this project, the weekend sweater, this is I have it hanging upside down because I've been working on the project like this, but I don't know if you can see it. This little stitch marker right here is super cute. I got it from an Etsy store called Saltwater Knitting. Yeah, I found them on Etsy. I don't know if they have any other website. I don't remember seeing anything like that. So back to the weekend sweater. This sweater, I am using Cascade Sierra. Let me get the label here. Yeah, Cascade Yarns Sierra. So this has the little price tag on it. So, but you can see it's a Sierra. And the color is 32. It's like a reddish brown. I mean, it's definitely brown, but it's got more of a reddish tint to it. And this is a worsted weight yarn. It is 100%, no, not 100%. It's 80% Pima cotton and 20% wool. It's very nice and soft. It feels great to knit with. I've been absolutely loving the way that this fabric has been working up. It's not, obviously because it's cotton, gonna be a super warm sweater, but I don't really need it to be living here in Miami. This is really gonna be, I think, a perfect, you know, like winter evening, it's a little bit cool on the boat coming home kind of sweater. We're also, my partner and I are also taking a road trip this summer out to the mountains in Montana. We're gonna do Glacier National Park and Yellowstone National Park. So I also think it'll be really nice to have this sweater on that trip. I think it'll be the perfect level of warmth for like a cool summer evening out west. So I'm really excited about how this is working up, and I'm really loving this yarn. I have a ton of this yarn. I've got another sweater's quantity in like a proper chocolate brown, and then I have another more than a sweater quantity in like a mixture of other colors. So I've got, I think, maybe 3 skeins of like a deep mauve, and then I have like a bright rich purple. I think I have 1 skein of like a really deep dark brown too. So I don't know if I'll do like maybe a color block sweater or something like that. Maybe I'll try color work. I haven't tried that yet, so that's exciting. But anyway, that's whip number 1. Let me set that aside. As far as other whips, I just finished something last night, which I'll talk about when I get to finish objects. But the next thing is this pair of socks. Hold them out. So I keep them in this project bag. I spilled coffee on it, so I'm gonna have to wash it and clean that up this morning. But this bag is also from an Etsy shop called Fancy Boy Designs. Adorable project bags. I only have the one because so far I haven't really needed more than one in this size, and I believe all the bags on that site are the same size. I'm pretty sure I looked at the measurements of quite a few, and they're not labeled in different sizes. I think they're all the same. But yeah, this adorable cat print, and the mixtures of the combinations of different patterns and fabrics that this person uses, they're just adorable. I can't get enough. It's got a little cat progress keeper zipper pull to match. So cute. And it's got a handle. I can put stitch markers on there. It's just a really great bag. So right now I've got the leftover yarn from my last 2 projects and this pair of socks. Okay, so I started this on April 2nd, and then I really haven't touched it because I've been finishing up, finished up another project and then started the weekend sweater. So I really have been neglecting these little socks here, but the yarn is Misty Alpaca hand paint sock yarn. Just got a really nice striping pattern. These are gonna be socks for my boyfriend Kyle. He really likes handmade socks. I've only made 1 pair, but they were meant for me and he stole them. So I'm gonna make him his own pair from scratch. So yeah, it's just got a really nice color pattern. And I knit them 2 at a time. I did that with the last pair. I just know myself, and I know that if I tried to do them 1 at a time, I would only ever have 1 sock. So I pretty much decided from the first pair of socks, and only so far a pair of socks I ever knit, that 2 at a time is the way to go. And the last pair of socks that I made was cuff down, and that was fine, but I like the idea of being able to try the sock on while I'm working on it, or have him try it on while I'm working on it, just to really get the fit right. I purchased the pattern for the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I haven't tried to work it yet, but I'm planning to put that on this sock, these socks. And I found that because Natalie, or Knitty Natty on YouTube, said that that's her favorite heel to make, and she seems to be an avid sock knitter, so I decided I would try it. And the pattern's only like $1, so you know, why not? On here I have another stitch marker, progress keeper from Saltwater Knitting. Sorry, I keep messing that up. Saltwater Knitting. So her handle on Etsy is Saltwater Knitting NL. Yeah, really cute. Really cute. Little black kitty for my bogey. He's around here somewhere. I don't know if you'll get to see him on camera today, but you might hear him. He had the zoomies earlier. So yeah, these are my 2 at a time toe up magic loop socks. Again, the pattern that I'm using you could find on Ravelry, but it's, you know, it's just a vanilla sock. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. So that is whip number 2. I also have another pair of socks. These have been hibernating. So this project bag is from, oh goodness, where did I get this project bag from? I got this one on Etsy as well, and none of these were purchased during the Etsy strike, which I think was too recent ago for me to have them already, but FYI. I really prefer to buy directly from shops, but sometimes Etsy is the only place you can find them. But I know that Etsy charges very high fees, and then I should probably not do that, but you know, if that's the only place I can get them, I'd rather support them there than not. So okay, so I got these from, this one is from Wool and Gray. Super cute tulip pattern. Just a really nice size bag. Sits up on its own. So in here I have my second pair of Kinda Magic socks. Now these have been hibernating because, oh look, I'm gonna be all tangled now. These have been hibernating, and I'm using 2. I did the first pair. I had bought on Wool and the Gang, they sell like 5 pairs of the Kinda Magic socks, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna make my own sock knitting boot camp and make 5 pairs of socks. So that's how I have 2 colors. I'm using 2 different balls of yarn to do the 2 at a time socks, and I did that the first time also. But yeah, so I started these a while ago. I wasn't getting the right gauge, which, if you're not familiar with the pattern, gauge is the most important part because it's a self-patterning yarn, but it's not like stripes, it's leopard spots. So the gauge is super important because otherwise it ends up looking like stripes and the spots don't really appear the way they're supposed to. And they're leopard spots, so they're like odd shapes, you know. So I started these and I couldn't get gauge. So I bought, they recommend 3 sizes of needles because gauge is so important. So I bought all 3 sizes of needles that they recommended. But they all didn't come at the same time. So I started, so I haven't changed these out yet. So I'm usually a pretty tight knitter, and I thought, especially on a small circumference, it might be better if I use the largest needle and then work my way down. So these are on 2.75 millimeter needles, and I didn't get gauge. I had worked up more than this, part of the spotted pattern, so you could tell. Didn't get gauge, didn't look right. So when the 2.5 millimeters came, I just left these the way they were, and I made the next pair, which was the light pink and the hot pink colorway, and I made those on the 2.5 needles. And the gauge was definitely better, but it just didn't feel as good as it could be. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe I just overestimated. I'm a tight knitter, but, you know, maybe that's the way it needs to be or something like that. So when the 2.25 millimeter needles came, I had already made too much progress on that first pair of socks. I said, you know what, I've got plenty of yarn. I have enough to make an entire second pair in that same color. I'm gonna just get through these. It'll teach me the structure of a sock, how to measure things, and then on the next pair I will size down again to 2.25 millimeter, and hopefully that will give me gauge. So when I finished the pink pair, I returned to these. These are in the green colorway. It's really more of a teal, the main color, mixed with like a light peach and like a cobalt blue. I don't know what the difference between cobalt and royal blue are. Royal blue's more like purple, right? Anyway, so I decided to just rip back and frog everything except the stripes. So the sock starts with the color for the ribbing, and then it naturally changes into a stripe pattern. I don't know if you can see that. Because then that's how you're supposed to test your gauge to make sure that if you have, you know, one stripe that goes all the way around the sock and then changes color, or, you know, pretty close, then your gauge is supposed to be good. I do know in watching other videos and reviews that the stripes aren't a great tool for getting your gauge. So I decided to pull back just to the stripes, and then I would change needles. I would switch needles and try the spots again, because these stripes were pretty close. So I think maybe that is the right move. So I'm gonna get started on these again. I don't know what I'll work on more, whether I'll work more on these or on the brown ones. I think the yarn for the brown ones I like more. This yarn's, it's pretty scratchy. I mean, the reason I got the pack of 5 pairs was not only to make my own like sock boot camp, but they were also having like a 40% off sale. So it was really significantly more economical to get the 5 pairs than it normally is. So I definitely did not pay full price for all 5 balls of yarn. But that being said, even for the price I paid for them, I really was expecting more. It's just not very soft. And I think I was just hoping for a smoother, softer yarn. I will say it's super stretchy. So like that's nice, but I guess it has to be because the pattern for the sock is like really only one size basically. Because it's just based on like inches of working, not like number of rounds. So they probably do that so that, you know, there's some give if the sizing's not exact. But and I know wool in general is pretty stretchy. So anyway, that is the last whip that I have to show you. Oh no, it's not. I forgot. One more whip that I started. This one doesn't get a cute bag. Those are the only 2 bags I have. So if you have any recommendations for project bags, I am all ears, because the Ziploc is not cute. So this doesn't look like much right now, but it is going to be a classic camisole, also by Darling J'adore. I mean, everything in her Ravelry shop is like amazing. I mean, just the aesthetic, the patterns, they're so detailed. I mean, I want to literally buy everything she's ever published. But anyway, so this is going to be a classic camisole. I'll put a picture or something so you can see what it's supposed to look like. It's just a basic V-neck, spaghetti strap, basic stockinette tank top. This is difficult for me to work on. Not because it's mindless. I kind of look for mindless knits. I like to do my knitting in front of the TV, so that way I don't have to worry too much about different patterns or anything like that. I do occasionally want something a little more interesting, but I don't know, lately I've just been in a mood for mindless knits. But anyway, it is obviously black. So I haven't been working tons on it because it's kind of hard to see. Case in point, I'm going to show you. The other thing about black is that it seems to show everything. Every cat hair in my home seems to be attracted to this, which you wouldn't think mattered considering he's a black cat. But anyway, I digress. But I'll show you the bottom ribbing. It's got a little twisted rib edge, but it doesn't look like that because I'm pretty sure I messed it up big time. I wasn't sure what a twisted rib was supposed to look like, and I did this before I did the weekend sweater. So it's pretty messy. I'm pretty sure my rounds were off. Like, I think in the middle row I purled when I was supposed to be knitting through the back loop. So I don't know if I accidentally did a broken rib. I don't really know how to do a broken rib. I mean, I understand the concept, but I've never done one. So maybe it looks like a fake broken rib, but really the whole purpose of it is just to give the edge of your camisole a flat edge so that it doesn't, like, you know, flip up as you work the stockinette. So since it's black, I'm not frogging it because I really don't think it matters. I mean, it still looks like a pretty neat and tidy edge. I mean, it's uniform in that it's messed up all the way around. So yeah, whatever. But yeah, my problem is that it's black and it's just stockinette. And this yarn, so let me tell you about the yarn. I am using, again, this is all on my Ravelry project page. I am using this Be Sweet bamboo. Hopefully you can see that. I have no idea what you can see because my camera doesn't play nice with my devices. Hopefully I'll get that fixed or something soon. But, sorry for the rant. So this is Be Sweet bamboo. It is 100% hand-dyed bamboo. 50 grams is 110 yards, and this is a DK weight yarn. So it is, the pattern calls for a fingering weight yarn, but I decided to use a DK weight yarn, just use bigger needles and then adapt based on my gauge. And it's supposed to be like a pretty flowy, just kind of boxy camisole, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be plenty of stitches. I cast on like, I don't know, 200 stitches or something like that. So it should be plenty. And yeah, I'm just gonna knit it up. I've got plenty of yarn, hopefully, to make it all the way through. But I've just been struggling. I was so excited to start working on that pattern. I had it in my queue, I had it in my cart forever, and I don't know, there's just something, this yarn, it doesn't excite me in the way that other projects, like this weekend sweater, it excites me. I mean, I just started that on Easter weekend. I literally, for like 2 days, I just knit for 2 days straight. I was so excited about that sweater. One of my finished objects, I was in love with the yarn, and just the act of knitting it with that yarn made me excited. And I don't know, this just doesn't do that for me. And I'm kind of at a point where knitting it just to have the final product, it's just not enough for me right now. I definitely started as a product-oriented knitter, but as I've been exploring other fibers, I've gotten more excited about the process of knitting. And so I think, like, forcing myself to work on this, I don't want to lose my knitting mojo, you know? So we'll see. We'll see what I do with this one. I'm not putting a deadline on it. I mean, I know I probably should, since summer is basically here, since I live in Miami, but not that a knitted tank top is gonna do me any favors, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not super excited about it. So we'll see. No deadline. It's here. It's something I can work on mindlessly as long as I have my neck light on. So we'll see when that one gets finished. But yeah, that is the last whip. So I want to move on now to finished objects. Yeah, let's do finished objects. So for finished objects, the first thing I'm going to show you is this. Ta-da! This is my Oslo. Nobody saw that. So this is my Oslo hat, mohair edition. If you can see, so the bottom, it's got a triple folded brim. Now this is currently damp because I only started blocking it last night, but I was just too excited about it, I had to show you. I couldn't wait for it to dry, so I'm going to show you and then I'm going to put it back on the towel. But this is my Oslo hat mohair edition. I don't know if you can see the halo on that, but yeah, I'm just absolutely in love. Hopefully you can see the color of the yarn. It's like the most beautiful peach, pink, purple, pastel, beautiful sunset sky you've ever seen in your life. I absolutely love it. This is the first project I ever used mohair in, so I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. I really enjoyed working with the mohair more than I thought I would. I had heard that it can be difficult, and I think I was afraid to work with it because I frog and mohair is not the friendliest to frogging, so I think that had put me off of it until now. But I mean, I'm sold. I love this, and especially coupled with this yarn, like having both of them in the same colorway and using them together, this excites me. You know what I mean? I could not wait to work on this, you know, coming home from work. Hello, bud. Oh, hello. What are you doing down there? That's Bogey. So if you hear him, he loves to play with my like my hair clips and stuff. I think he's got one at my feet. Hopefully you can't hear it, or at least hopefully it's not too loud. But so yeah, my Oslo hat mohair edition. Now this yarn, I have cakes I can show you. So here is the yarn. So one skein of mohair is, I think, 450 yards, and the fingering I think was like 220, I want to say. So I used one whole skein of the fingering and a little bit of this one, and then about half, a little over half of the mohair. But they're really just beautiful, beautiful yarns. And I really loved the way that they worked up together. So that is the yarn. That is from Fuzzy Peach Fibers. She is on Instagram and Etsy. Etsy is where I bought the yarn from. I love the yarn so much that before I even made a project with my first order, I placed a second order. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is totally not sponsored. I mean, it's my first YouTube video, but I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with that yarn. Every post on Instagram makes me want to put something else in my Etsy cart. I can't help it. Everything is like a pastel, dream, vivid colors, just the most, it's colors that speak to me, you know? They reach through my phone and grab my soul, and they're like, you need me in your life. And I give in. I give in. Not every time, but I give in. So it's definitely the most high-end yarn I buy, since it is hand-dyed. It's a little splurge for myself, but definitely worth it. The yarn is great. I didn't have any trouble with splitting or like the color coming off. I wet blocked it. It's still drying. Everything's been fine. So really happy with those yarns. Other finished objects. I have another hat. So this hat I finished a while ago. Actually, I don't know why I never really store them unfolded, but okay, that's better. So this hat I finished a while ago, and this hat is made out of We Are Knitters Marawool. Yeah, We Are Knitters Marawool in, I want to say, spotted green. All the information is on my Ravelry project page. And this hat was for my boyfriend Kyle. Our school does like class trips every year, and this year he took a group of students to the Grand Canyon, and they went in March, so it's still pretty chilly. So I made him this hat to wear at the Grand Canyon. I gotta say, I've heard the drama with We Are Knitters. I don't really know the full extent of it, because a lot of the people that I kind of follow in the knitting community have all kind of said the same comment, that they're not really going to get into it. So I don't know the full extent I haven't really done any digging on what happened. I have the gist of what happened. So I don't know how I feel about making purchases from them in the future, but I will say that I am really happy with this yarn. It is just cushy enough and squishy enough to be wonderful and cozy. It's very soft. I really like the color. It's got, you know, tiny little flecks of like yellow or lime green mixed in with this really pretty emeraldy color. So really love that. It felt beautiful in my hands while I was working on it. So yeah, I don't really know where I stand with all of that. I have to do more research before I make another purchase. But I gotta say, they are very popular for a reason, I guess. Or at least they were. So this is Kyle's hat. I knit this on size 8, 16 inch circular needles. Worked up super quick since the yarn is like a worsted weight yarn. Yeah, really easy, simple, quick project. I don't even think I followed a pattern. Or maybe I did and then I just kind of did my own thing. I think I followed the pattern for the decreases, but for the cast on, I just used a regular long tail cast on. I think I did, I don't know how many stitches I did for this. I think I did 96 stitches cast on. And it's very stretchy, so that is plenty. But yeah, just a super cute, you know, really simple folded brim, kind of classic beanie. So that is Kyle's. So I made this cowl just kind of on a whim. This didn't even ever make it onto my Ravelry page just because I think I had lost the label of the skein long before I ever picked it up to work with it. And I think by the time I kind of discovered what Ravelry was, to the point that I was putting my whole stash on there, this was already, like, the label had been long gone. So unfortunately I can't tell you what it is, but it's really cute. You know, it just made up a quick little, you know, cute cowl. I haven't blocked this or anything, so some of the stitches are, you know, still pretty uneven. Just kind of made up the pattern, cast on however many stitches I felt like. I didn't have a project page, so couldn't tell ya. It is looser on one end. For some reason, either my cast on or my bind off was very tight on one side. So it's not perfect, but you know, it's a cute little simple cowl. Nice for, you know, if I go places where it's pretty mild, maybe a little bit chilly, but I can accessorize with it because it doesn't, you know, it's not like a scarf that goes wrapped around super long. But yeah, I just really love the fiber. It is very soft. If I had to guess, I would definitely say it's, I don't know, maybe a merino wool, because it just has that smooth but soft, plushy quality that a merino has. And I love the color. I love this, like, it's like a little bit more green than a Tiffany blue. A little bit like a greener version of like a robin's egg blue. Not teal though. Well, maybe you would call this a pastel teal. I'm not sure. But just really lovely, cute. You know, took up an afternoon, really quick knit. I remember I knit this on size 11 needles because it's you know, it's pretty thick. It's definitely a chunky yarn. You know, I do think like that gave me a pretty big gauge. If you can see that. But I think it works. It's just enough. So yeah, size 11 needles for that one. What else do I have to show you? As far as finished objects, I think those are all the finished. Well, I do have one more finished object I could show you. It's a pair of fingerless gloves I made for Cowl. And actually, I made a pair for myself. Ooh, I'm gonna have to find those. So I made Cowl a pair of fingerless gloves. That has a project page on Ravelry. It is a pair of gloves made out of... It's made out of mink. And the yarn that I used, they don't make it out of 100% mink anymore. But it's really a lovely yarn. It was so soft and very nice to work with. It is Lotus Yarns Mimi hand dyed, and it was a lace weight yarn. So I have a little bit left of that, and if I knew where he put the fingerless gloves, I would have them here to show you. But maybe in the next video, I'll have to circle back. I also have to find the fingerless gloves I made for myself, which have a Ravelry. Whoa! I also have to find the fingerless gloves I made for myself, though they have a Ravelry project page. I just have to find them in my stuff. Again, I'll circle back next time and show you those. I don't know if I'll have any other finished objects to show you next time. Maybe a little bit. But I do have one more. And this was just a total fluke. So this yarn, all of the yarn I mentioned except for the Fuzzy Peach Fibers and the Kinda Magic Sock yarn is all yarn that I got from that local yarn store closing, from the donation that they made. So yeah, all of that, including what I'm about to show you, came from that. So this is obviously not blocked. I don't know if you can see it. It's a shawl, just a super simple garter stitch all the way through shawl. Started from a 3-stitch cast on and then just made raglan increases along the center until I stopped wanting to knit, basically. I had 4 skeins of this, and they didn't have label. At one point I had the label, but when I was putting it into my Ravelry stash, I no longer had the label. I'm pretty sure Kyle threw out the labels, but anyway, so I have no idea what the yarn is. Yeah, so I had 4 skeins of it. I want to say each skein was, I don't know, 100 yards. I mean, this is not a super big shawl. I think I used 3 for sure. I think I used a little bit, maybe half of the 4th skein before I got tired of working on it. I made a shawl because I really didn't know what else to do with this yarn. These colors are pretty far out of my comfort zone, at least paired together the way they are. I don't really know when I would ever wear this. I'm hoping that I will find somebody who likes these colors paired together and I can give them this either as a shawl to wear or at least as a blank that they could make something else out of. You know, because they could just unravel it. I gotta say, this yarn is really nice. I don't know if it's a hand spun yarn. It definitely is not uniform. So if you're looking at the shawl, there are places where the yarn is a lot thicker and then where it's a lot thinner as far as the spin. Let me see if I can find. So like here's an example. Like this ridge right here is like pretty thick. And then down here you have a little bit more like stitch definition where the spin is thinner. So just a really interesting yarn. It's super fuzzy. It's not super toothy though. I really can't figure out what it is. I don't know if it's mixed with alpaca, if it's maybe Angora. I have absolutely no idea. But it is super soft. I mean, this is next to skin soft. And I don't think mohair is as soft as this. So it's really nice. I mean, just lovely. I just wish the colors were different, you know? This doesn't feed my soul the way some other things do, but it was an easy shawl. Again, another couple of afternoons of knitting. I knit this also on size 11 needles. I'm pretty sure it's a worsted weight yarn, so I got quite a loose gauge that way. A very open fabric, but I like it that way, especially with how fuzzy it is. I felt like it worked well with that. But yeah, super mindless, just kind of let myself go until I ran out of yarn. So there we are. That was the last finished object, except for the fingerless glove. So there's a couple of things I want to show you. I want to show you, as far as acquisitions, I pretty much just have this. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic yet. Hopefully it's not too crinkly. But let me show you this yarn because, again, not sponsored. Inga probably doesn't even know who I am, but I'm just obsessed. Obsessed. I already have more yarn from her sitting in my cart on Etsy because I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. So I'm gonna make really loud crinkly noises for a second. Okay, so the first skein is no longer in stock. This is a colorway that she has discontinued, well, not discontinued, but improved upon and released under a different name. So this is her Merino Angora fingering in, what is this? In Whisper. It is 80% Merino, 20% Angora. This is the same weight yarn that I held with mohair for this hat. So these are the same yarns, just in two different colorways. Now I just have the one skein of this. I don't know what to use it for. I had the idea. I really only bought it because she wasn't gonna continue it. She was moving to some other bases at the time, I think. And so, well, and I think because she was getting ready to update this colorway to what I think is now Moon Milk. So because she was not going to make more of this colorway, she put it at a discount, and so I thought I might as well grab one. I had my eye on it anyway. So I bought it on sale. Just bought the one. I figured I would buy, you know, maybe I'll buy a sweater's quantity of like a cream, or maybe not a cream, maybe like a charcoal gray, and I could do some color work using this since I haven't expanded into color work yet. I've never tried it, but I definitely want to. So I was thinking one skein might be enough, you know, to do a couple rounds on a yoke, or I mean more than a couple, but something like that where I wouldn't need too much yardage, but I could still use this beautiful color. So that's skein number one. So cat household, I'm trying to protect this yarn as long as possible. So yes, it lives in its original plastic packaging. All right, now this sock set, it's in her soft sock base. This is the Honeydew. Honeydew might be the name of the main skein, but I think it's the honeysuckle seedling and wink. So this is the honeysuckle sock set. So this skein, the main one, is the honeysuckle skein, and then I'm not sure which one is which, but because this is green, I'm gonna guess that this is seedling, and then this blue one must be wink. But don't those colors aren't they just the most beautiful combination of colors? I mean, it's fun, it's vibrant, and for a pair of socks, like, how adorable. So cute. So I'm very excited. It's super squishy and soft. I'm super excited to knit up a pair of socks with this. I can't decide if I want to, what kind of sock I want to do with this. If I want to try to do like maybe a stripe or just do like a contrast heel and toe. I think I'll just do that so that this beautiful variegated yarn can kind of be the star, but I'm just obsessed. I'm so excited. I want to get through a few more things since I know this is going to inspire me so much, and I'm not going to want to put the socks down. I know they will fly off the needles. So I'm really kind of saving this for when I need to be happy about a whip. But super excited to use it. Very, very squishy. Very nice. So the last thing in this purchase is another sock set, and this is in the colorway Fleur and Dusk. So you get a full 100 gram skein of this color, which is Fleur. So I don't think the honeysuckle sock set is in the shop anymore. I think she's out of stock of that, but I think this may still be in stock. So if you like it, highly recommend it. It's, again, that super soft, squishy, soft sock base. I just said soft about 8 times. So yeah, so this is Fleur, this is Dusk, and then you get also a mini skein of Natural, which seems to be an undyed base, which is why I would guess it's natural. But yeah, just beautiful. I don't know if you can see like the speckling in there. I mean, it's almost one of those skeins that like is too pretty to knit. I kind of feel like I could just like display this forever as a piece of art in my home. But I don't know if anybody else would appreciate it the way that I do. But just gorgeous. So this yarn was purchased for a gift. Hopefully she's not watching, but my mom absolutely loves purple. And so when I saw this sock set, I thought, oh my God, my mom has been wanting a pair of socks. You know, Mother's Day is coming up soon. Her birthday is also in June. So, you know, whichever deadline I can meet, I think this pair of socks would just blow her mind, because it's so beautiful. So yeah, hopefully I get to give her the socks before she ever sees this. I'm gonna have to tell her specifically not to watch this video, although it'll still be a surprise because they always look different. The yarn always looks a little bit different worked up than it does in this skein, so it'll still be a little bit of a surprise how everything turns out. But yeah, beautiful. Whew. Okay, so I think that is everything. I have been talking for what feels like forever, so if you've made it this far, I so appreciate you sticking around. I look forward to making more videos. I do have one more thing I want to talk about, and this was another yarn store donation, but I don't really know what to do with it. So this is a bobbin of paper linen yarn. And I don't know if you can tell on camera from the texture of it, but it is literally paper. I mean, I don't know if you can, like, can you see? Like, it's paper. It's got a paper texture. I mean, it would tear super easily, I imagine. I haven't tried to, obviously. I don't want to break my yarn, but yeah, it's paper. It has the same feel as like a more dense crepe paper. So if you do like decorating or arts and crafts with preschoolers, and you know that crepe paper that you make like streamers out of, or you know, if you're decorating for a party, you might like put them all over. It feels like that, but like definitely stronger. Like crepe paper would just tear if I did that, and this is obviously stronger. I think it's made out of viscose. I think it's a viscose paper linen, which it probably is why it's stronger. But it is so interesting. I don't know what to do with it, which is why I'm bringing it up. It came in a set with another yarn that's like it's on my Ravelry stash page. But that other yarn is like an orangey yarn. It's a fingering weight, and it is silk, I believe. And so those came together as like a kit with a pattern, but the pattern only comes in a medium, and I'm not a medium. So since I knew I wasn't going to make the pattern that it came with, I decided to just use the two yarns separately, because that other orange yarn, I don't really know how I feel about the orange and purple combo. I like it because it gives me like a retro vibe, but with this material, I wasn't feeling the two of them together. So I decided to use them separately. I have some ideas for the other one, but this one, I'm stumped. I found a pattern on Ravelry for like paper lanterns, where you like knit like a cover and then you pop it on like a twinkle light. Oh, hello! Hello, friend. This is Bogey. Say hi, Bogey. Say hi. Hello. Sorry about this. Little invader saw a spot on the desk. So yeah, if you have any ideas, please tell me what I could use this for, because I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued, and I want to use it. Excuse me. Excuse me, Crinkler. He loves crinkly things. He loves to bite crinkly things. Anytime I pull out the little treat bag, he wants to steal it and play with it. You're a crinkly boy. Just hold on for a minute. I'm almost done. So yeah, I'm very intrigued. If you have any ideas, please let me know. I want to use it, but I don't know if the paper lantern thing is going to work. I haven't looked at the pattern at all. I just kind of put it in my queue. So we'll see. I'm hoping that you guys have some really cool suggestions. And then I can make something awesome. So let me know. Bogue says hi. He's Bogey. My boyfriend is a golfer, so Bogey, like 1 under par. No. Yes? Yes. No. Bogey's 1 over par. You don't want a bogey, but we like this one. Ooh, watch that crazy tail, my man. So anyway, if you have made it this far and you are still with me, then I appreciate you. I know this is a rambling podcast episode, but it's my first time, so I'm figuring it out. Hopefully you will come on this journey with me. I'm very glad to have you. So, again, please feel free, like, subscribe, comment. I really am hoping that this gives me an opportunity to connect with a lot more knitters around the world. So yeah, I can't wait to hear from you. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for spending however long this video is with me. Hopefully it's not too long. But yeah, I hope to see you guys soon.